And we are live. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Memorial Day show. What is it? May 30th, 2022. I had 2 viewers down to 1. I don't know, Stream Sniper, bot, Fed, a regular viewer, somebody who just accidentally stumbled in here. They clicked on the wrong link somehow. Anyway, welcome to the show. Welcome to Memorial Day. Hope you guys had a good day. I did way too much today in terms of it was like 90 plus degrees here, and I was doing way too much. I really wasn't even going to do a stream, but I was like, no, you got to be tough and soldier on, and you got to do a show. Like there's so much going on, like there always is. But last week. Tuesday, we had the Texas thing, and a lot of stuff going on with that. But of all of these things, you can never answer all the questions, right? There's always going to be unanswered questions, and some people think that their questions that are unanswered are like really clever, but they aren't, because some questions just can't be answered, and some questions it's not even worth asking because they're just dumb. Like you think it's a gotcha question, but it isn't really a gotcha question, So, but the most interesting thing of all this stuff, and there's tons of heartache, in terms of police response and what the feds were doing and like this whole thing. But the biggest question I have, other than the obvious that Joe Biden went down to Texas. Somebody on Twitter said that kid turned 18 the Sunday before. Like his 18th birthday was the Sunday before he did the shooting on Tuesday, which that's the biggest gotcha of all of them. It's like, oh, how does a kid work at Wendy's, get a pickup truck and two ARs with an EOTech, optic plus 20 magazines plus whatever 1,500 1,600 rounds of ammo while flipping burgers part-time. Like, how do you afford that? The kid doesn't have a driver's license. Yeah, that's all true, and but that's like the biggest deal of it, because if you've ever been to a gun store and you've bought a gun at a gun store, you have to fill out something called a 4473. 4473 is an ATF form. When you buy anything, a long gun or a pistol or whatever, and it's like a 4-page form, and you have to fill it out exactly. You have to answer a bunch of questions, and you have to fill out your information, your details, exactly as they appear in your driver's license, because the gun store is going to photocopy your driver's license and staple it to that 4473. And the last time when I bought a 22 rifle, I bought a Marlin 89C, I think it was, Marlin Model 89. Anyway, I bought that rifle, and I put my address down wrong. Like, well, not wrong, but different from the way it was in my driver's license. And they noticed it. They noticed it like the next day. And what they did was they offered me 200 rounds of ammo free to come back and correct that form. And the reason why is because the ATF fucking cracks down on them. Like one spelling error, or if you normally use your middle initial, you did it on your driver's license application, but you don't normally use it, like whatever, you're at the DMV and you just put in your middle initial. But on the 4473, you forgot to put your middle initial. This is a big fucking deal. And then the gun store wants you to come back and fix it, because their federal firearms licensee, their license depends on it, and they want all the paperwork perfect. This is the biggest part of this Texas thing, because if the kid didn't have a driver's license, and if he only turned 18 2 days before he did the shooting, where the fuck did he get the guns? Because there's no gun stores like within a 2-hour drive of him. You know what I mean? I know everybody thinks, well, it's Texas. There's a gun store on every street corner. That's not really true. That's not the way it is. There are no gun stores or sporting goods stores that would sell him those guns within a 2-hour drive of where he lives. And if he turned 18 on that Sunday, the gun stores would have been closed anyway. So how did he get the guns? And he's taking pictures of them and he's putting them on Instagram and sending them to some dopey 15-year-old girl in Germany how did he get those guns? Because they're in a gun store in God's green earth that are going to sell you guns under 18 with no fucking ID. That's just not happening. Now, I don't know if that's a legit line of inquiry or maybe it's just Twitter rumor. But when this kid turned 18, what day did he turn 18? How between the day he turned 18 and the day he shot up the school? That's the biggest gotcha, I think, of all of this, of all the fucking horrors and all the gory details. Of the woman having to drive 40 miles and then she gets handcuffed, but then she gets a local cop to make the marshals unhandcuff her, and then she jumps the fence and saves her own kid, and so there's female deception and manipulation working in her favor. That's the purpose of deception. You know what I mean? To do what absolutely needs to be done. So but yeah, when did that kid turn 18? What ID did he show to get those firearms? That's not being asked, of course, and it's probably going to be buried. And I was thinking about this just before the show, just like Buffalo. Where is it? Where's the Buffalo thing? Yeah, this one. It came out just recently that the Buffalo shooter, the one that shot up the supermarket, he was in contact with a retired FBI agent. Why is this not coming up? He was in contact with a retired FBI agent, and who may have known about the shooting 30 minutes before it actually occurred. So once again, when we say glows in the dark, we're almost always correct. And the other thing about more than just the obvious. Oh, by the way, this kid was on some game server or some message board, and he just happened to be in touch with, right before he went and did this mass casualty attack, mass shooting. That the White House goes to these things. That's really probably what makes it glow more than anything else. Of all what the White House is not particularly quick to pick up on things and quick to react. And particularly this White House is especially bad at that. Like nobody's finger is further from the pulse of events than this White House. And so there it is. Finally, this thing shows up. Let's make that a little bigger. What happened? Now what happened? What'd you do? Hey, cut that out. Dude. This is not working the way I wanted to, which is pretty normal for the show. So, Boomer Tech of, oh, come on. No, I didn't fucking click on that one, you fucking cunt. You love this. All right. The White House is going to the scene, right? Obviously, they're going there because, they're looking to score points. They're looking to influence public opinion. They're looking to influence not really public opinion. I guess public opinion, and somehow hopes that trumps the Supreme Court. And that to me shows that these guys are really, and the people behind them are not, they're not competent. They're not, whatever prior generations of puppet masters that were behind the scenes, this current generation of puppet masters sucks. You know what I mean? They're the incompetent fucking children of the guys who at least used to know what they were doing while they were subverting governments and killing people and doing all that stuff. These are the fucking goofballs who get caught at every turn and who don't plan and who don't understand how to react when things don't go according to their original plan. So the fact that the White House went down to Texas, that to me really makes it glow, because it's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We flip the switch in this guy, get him to go off. Then we walk the president through the scene, which they did walk him through the scene, and there was whatever. It's supposed to be a town full of Mexican people, and it's all like white people shouting, like obvious questions. What will you do? What is your plan? Like super clearly into a microphone. While of course Biden just fucking ghost walks through the whole fucking thing, and he's like, he don't know what's going on, and he really, you can see that whole. The historians are going to have a field day with this, but yeah. So that's the fact that the White House goes down there. That's what really makes it glow. You know what I mean? Just like the poison gas attack in Syria that they told Trump happened. I mean, you can't get Trump to go to Syria, but you can get him to make the phone call to the Pentagon to launch the missiles. So, but with domestic stuff, you have to have the concerned president going down there and doing whatever he's doing. Cuchalongo, welcome to the show, sir. I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing my QR shirt again, my QR code shirt again. I haven't worn it in a while, and I was in the mood to wear it. I got to take it out. I spent a lot of money on this thing. I spent a lot of money to hypnotize people with my attire, and you got to take it out every now and then and cast a spell. Anyway, welcome to the show, bro. I haven't seen you around in a while. All right, the title of tonight's show, because here's the thing about the stunning internet success that I am, the social media powerhouse, is you got to have a catchy 3-word title for all your streams. You can't have like something long and complicated. It's got to be catchy 3-word title, which in tonight's case is the Ghost Dancers Union. And I was thinking about this as I have way too much time while I'm driving around. I've been going to Boston a lot lately. I know Boston, like week after week after week. Now I was going south to Virginia like every week, twice a week for 12 weeks, and now I'm going to Boston. It's weird like that. It goes like that sometimes. You just go in the opposite direction. Anyway, ghost dancing, right? Everybody knows if I touch it, you get 1 BTC. Now, I'll tell you what. Here's what you do. If you scan this shirt with your smartphone, if you scan the QRs, you get a free copy of my best-selling ebook, which is How to Beat the Feds and Insult People. So, just get out your smartphone, scan my shirt, and get a free copy of my best-selling ebook, How to Beat the Feds and Insult People. So it's just as simple as that. Speaking of Bitcoin, I see tons of good accidents. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, welcome to the show, sir. Now look, we have huge numbers on the screen. Got 3 whole viewers. Yeah, tons of accidents on I-95, particularly on Friday and Saturday night around Philly and Baltimore. A lot of multi-car accidents. 3, 4, 5 cars. These kids playing Fast and Furious, going like what we used to call highway sharks when rode motorcycles, cars that weave, left to right across the lanes at high speed. We call them highway sharks. I don't know where the term came from, but that's what we used to call them. And they fuck it up, and they hit somebody, and then it causes a chain reaction that's particularly disastrous. I don't actually see them happen, but I see what it looks like. Children's toys afterwards, like a little kid left his toy cars all over the place on a bedroom floor. That's what the highways look like. It's crazy. How is my car running? Perfectly. I have a finely tuned. What is it? The 2006 Toyota Matrix with what are we coming up on? Probably like or over 300. Probably like 340,000. Maybe a little more than that. 340K. So all is well. All is well, and that's my tool. That's my whip, right? This is my drip. I'm learning like all this. Drip is clothing, and whip I think is either a car or a gun. I don't know. I've seen people refer to a whip as a pistol, but I've also seen referred to as a car. So I don't know. So if my matrix is the whip, then this is the drip. Best food in Philly these days? It's a good question. My go-to for probably with the most unique, John's roast pork. You can Google it. You can see it on YouTube. John's roast pork. It's been there since the 1930s. Cash only place. Get They do cheesesteaks and all that stuff, but get the roast pork with mild provolone and spinach. Thank me later. Um, Whip is obviously a car, but I've also seen it referred to in the 2A sense, in the Second Amendment sense. This is my whip. You know, I don't know. Listen, I'm like the least fucking cool guy you're ever gonna. I am a 56-year-old fucking white guy. You know what I mean? This is not an African shirt, Jonathan Pohl. This shirt is a living QR code. Okay, if you scan this shirt with your smartphone, you get a free copy of my fucking ebook. You know, I'm not. I don't write like big thick books like you do. I just write a little ebook, tap it out, you can download it, and it's called "How to Beat the Feds and Insult People" by STFU James. Find it on Amazon.com. Anyway, yeah, John's roast pork in Philly. It's exit. I want to say like 19 or something like that off 95. It's a really 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 famous spot. Definitely worth your time. But now we've been completely knocked off. Now here we go down the food. We're going down we're kicking in with Bourdain's law with the stream just veering off into a culinary stream. And apparently Twitter, there's nothing happening on Twitter. People are now attacking the Nordic contingent of the white power movement because apparently when you go to the house of a Viking, they don't offer you food. You get no food. Okay, they just give you like a fucking ice cube and a kick in the ass, and that's it. You know, and everyone's like, literally the entire world of Twitter, people are like, Poland's like, my wife would pull her hair out of her head if you didn't eat. And everywhere there's a map of everywhere in the world where if you go to someone's house, they will offer you food. You will sit and you will have some kind of food. It doesn't have to be a full meal. It's going to be something that when a guest comes, you serve them food. But not in Sweden or Norway or whatever in these other countries. And that's the reason why that's why they can't accomplish anything. It's like two Viking dudes, right? They're like, hey, Sven, what do you want to do? Like, okay, Eric, let's take over the world. All right, we're going to, you know what? Before we do that, can we grab a quick bite? You got anything? Hey, you freeloader, get out of my pantry, you freeloader. You know what I mean? Get out of my house. And that's why they can't take over the world. They wouldn't even give each other a fucking, what do they call it, loot fish or something. It's like some kind of horrible pickled fish dish that is like really like considered the worst food. I think it was voted like worst food on the planet. You can't even get that. They just kick you out into the snow with an empty belly and to fuck you. It's like, you're like, dude, I brought you a birthday card. I got you a present. You know, can I get like a glass of punch and maybe like a little slice of that cake? And they're like, they fucking lose their shit. So, and that's why they will never rule anything. They will never rule anything. They're evil, deceptive people. They called the place that's frozen Greenland. They called the place with the warm volcanoes Iceland. So they're just deceptive people, incapable, regardless of how high trust you think they are. If they lied about those two islands, Greenland and Iceland, trust me, they're lying about a lot of other things. A lot of other things. So, anyway, yes. All the time, food. Kuchalanga used to live on South Street in Philly. Two dogs in African shirts. Oh, this is not an African shirt. How is this African? This is not. This isn't even close to African. That's an outrage. This is not. I don't think it's African. Went to Sacramento Greek Festival. Drank ouzo a couple of times. Ouzo. Wow. That's. I don't even. I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm not even drinking that stuff anymore. I'm like deliberately trying not to keep my alcohol consumption under like 15 ounces at a clip, because that's better, especially because it's going to be 97 degrees tomorrow, and my whip does not have air conditioning. So it's time to tough it out. And I don't want to have to tough it out and sweat out a hangover at the same time. But the Ghost Dancers Union, here, this is where I was going before Cuchilongo spun me off into John's roast pork and going off on the Nordic people and all the rest. The idea of ghost dancing, right, comes from the Native Americans. And, after they killed it, by the way, a lot of people don't know, there used to be horses that were native to North America, like a small breed of horse, but the Indians killed them all and ate them. They just hunted them to extinction. But anyway, they used to, when the buffalo were gone, they would put on this like a buffalo skin, and they would do a dance, and they'd wave the stick with fucking feathers on it to try and bring the buffalo back. Like, we'll pretend to be you, and we'll be the spirit of you, and this will bring back prosperity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And in a modern cultural political context, a ghost dance is people doing something that used to work but doesn't work anymore. So whatever, Republican politics, Democratic union politics, or something like that. They're trying to like ghost dance. You know what I mean? To try and bring back the old days. And there's a lot of people that I've seen on Twitter and other platforms, and they talk about the procedures that are going on right now. Whatever stupid shit that's going on. Mitch McConnell's doing this to okay money going to Ukraine or whatever, and they say, well, it's just a ghost dance. And I thought about that, and all these people, everybody's with the fucking burn the Constitution. And there's nobody that doesn't want to burn the Constitution. I don't know, maybe you used your copy of the Constitution to light your Memorial Day barbecue. I don't know. That would be use of, burning the Constitution. However, the real ghost dancers are the people waiting for the authoritarians. You know what I mean? And their ghost dance is they're going to criticize democracy. Democracy sucks. And it's got gay pride parades, and fucking the Jews own six companies that control the media, blah, 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 blah. And they make their pronouncements. You know what I mean? They're doing a ghost dance to bring back authoritarianism. That's what they're doing, because there's no authoritarians anywhere really on the face of the earth anymore. You know what I mean? So it's really, who's the real ghost dancers? You know what I mean? You think, if we just criticize, if we just make one more, whatever, deeply neo-reactionary critique of whatever the fuck, then whatever, we'll get Spanish Hitler, or we'll get whoever the fuck you think you're going to get. They're not coming. You're doing the ghost dance. You know what I mean? The whole rest of the world is moving on, but you're doing the ghost dance, and you project that. You very, very much project that on others. James, you might make it all the way without mentioning, because good luck. Who? What? I don't want to get above 70 again. Kuchelong, you're in Seattle? Oh man, that is crazy. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by make it all the way. I have no idea. Oh, make it all the way without mentioning the small hats. Well, what is the point then? You know what I mean? How do you? You have to say the stuff that nobody wants you to say. You really have to say that. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm in Delta Cargo with a Colombian guy, Colombian friend of mine, and some Spanish woman that's releasing the cargo. And they're talking about something back and forth. And I decided to bust this woman's balls. Now, I really shouldn't be busting her balls, because when I have to go pick up stuff off of airplanes, she's the one that's going to give me the shit from the airplanes. So she's going to decide whether the runner goes and gets my thing, or the runner goes and gets somebody else's thing. So just to bust balls, I said, hey, what's with you Spanish people always blaring fucking, you pull up alongside me in a red light and they're fucking blasting your music. Like, I was like, what is with you? What's wrong with you? And she's like, we have to do that to stay awake because we're tired, because we're working so hard. Whatever, rebuilding America, whatever she thinks. She says, that's why we need reggaeton. I don't know if you guys ever heard reggaeton, but it's like a Spanish rap. Way back in the day. The last time I went on a date, and the first time I took a girl on a date on a motorcycle, this chick was a South Korean chick. How did I know that? Because I saw she had a tattoo of the flag of South Korea on her ankle. Anyway, so she's We go to this Vietnamese place in, I don't know if it was it like New Brunswick or something like that. She wants to go to this Vietnamese joint, so we go to this Vietnamese joint and park the bike, and we're walking into the restaurant, and somebody goes, like a car goes by playing reggaeton. And I was like, what is that? She says, you don't know what that is? She says, I said, no. She said, it's reggaeton. She looks at me like, it's reggaeton. I said, no, it makes me feel like I want to rob a liquor store. You know what I mean? She didn't think it was that funny. She was like, that's not funny. I'm like, yes, it is. It's very funny. But so I said that to the Spanish chick. I was like, she's like, oh, that's why we listen to reggaeton. And I told her that story. I said, yeah, the first time I heard reggaeton, I said, it makes me want to feel like I'm go rob a liquor store. And she was like, this chick like flips out. She smashed it. This, what the fuck? Like, how am I gonna, like, you expect to come get your pieces for me? You think when you come in here with paperwork that I'm gonna give you what you came for after what you just said? And I'm just dying laughing. I'm just like, just choking, laughing hysterically. And my Colombian friend is like, he's an asshole. He's just, and like, you don't understand how much of an asshole this guy really is. And she's like, she's still trying to like to be pretend outraged. You know what I mean? And I'm just laughing my ass off. Absolutely straight up laughing my ass off. Latina girlfriends had a couple of them, yes. But that's anyway. Again, Cucamongo knocking me completely off track with his distractive. Wait a minute. I said I was going to. You know what? See, I'm being a bad streamer because I said I was going to start just throwing up people's chat messages in order to increase the sense of belonging and participation in the show. So that is key. That makes you feel like you're part of this. Anyway, so so that was whatever. The chick at Delta is she's going to remember me, and she will endlessly give me grief because I made fun of Spanish music, and I'm going to keep making fun of Spanish music because it's not that good. It's not that good, and they just play it too loud. I don't care that you want to hear your music, but dude, like I can hear you from 3 stoplights away. There's no need for that. And when I try to talk to you in a normal tone of voice, you're always shouting what, because you damaged your hearing. Hearing loss is both cumulative and permanent. Remember that, kids, as a safety tip. Hearing loss is both cumulative and permanent. 105 degrees in New Mexico for a week straight. That sounds horrible. We don't really get that. East Coast, like 3 days of 100 degrees is about all that ever takes before it snaps. I don't think we've ever been more than like 4 days of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. At least not that I can remember. At least not that I can remember. I got to look at my notes. I got to try and look at my notes. Cucamongo doesn't want to be in rainy Seattle. He wants to be in sunny New Mexico. Cucamongo. There's not wrong to mention Bitcoin because Bitcoin is pumping now, and we have no idea why. We've been going sideways at 29,000 for 6 months, and now we all of a sudden popped at 31K for some unknown reason. For some reason that I don't know. Where here's a guy. Maybe it's this guy. Maybe it's influencers. Let's Bill Miller, who that's a very pedestrian name, by the way. Bill Miller doesn't sound particularly. It sounds German, right? Miller's German, isn't it? Is it Miller a German name? Wilhelm Miller or something like that? Okay, get rid of the kipper fish. That's supposed to go away now. Come on. Let's put Billy up on the screen. Let's get going with this high tech. Now that is twice you're doing that to me. Twice you're doing it. I have to feel like this is a conspiracy against me, probably by someone with a Viking helmet and an internet act. Okay. There we go. Hey, look at that. Hooray. From Bitcoin Magazine, 2015, 22, billionaire, that's billion with the B, billionaire Bill Miller, I consider Bitcoin an insurance policy against financial catastrophe. And he's sitting there, I guess, with his butler behind him, some dude in a purple suit, and he looks like he's sitting in some palace. So a lot of people, also Jack Dorsey from Twitter, mentioning that the U.S. dollar has lost its global reserve status. Hasn't quite happened yet, but interesting that Dorsey, remember Dorsey, big Bitcoin guy, worth about 12 billion with a B. So, and here's the thing, I talked about a couple of things. I talked about last week, I talked about some small hat from MIT who rewrote the Bitcoin software, and he called it Bitcoin Internet Protocol 119, BIP 119, and he wanted it to be voted on and included the Bitcoin. And basically it sank without a ripple because, one, he did nothing new, and two, he did not generate any value for the large majority, the overwhelming majority of people who hold Bitcoin. He could not build a consensus that his changes, which none of which were really that changey, were worth doing. So it sank without a ripple. So I saw this, and this shows that to be honest, I don't think they know what they're doing. This is the girl who, what's her name? Molly White. First, she documented the alt-right. Now she's coming for crypto. Molly White, a veteran Wikipedia editor. What is that, like fucking, what does it mean? Like she fought in the desert against Saddam Hussein? A veteran Wikipedia editor is fast becoming the cryptocurrency world's biggest critic. Yeah, well, first off, her apartment doesn't look much better than mine, for Christ's sake. I don't know what they're paying her, but no wonder she's pissed at crypto dudes. So yeah, that little girl, she's gonna take down the world of crypto. Watch out. She took down the right, and now she's gonna take down crypto. Well, what's interesting, one fun and interesting thing about crypto is, is this the one? Is this the guy? Yeah, here we go. I don't know I can't remember if I showed this last week or if I didn't show it last week. The problem is I don't remember what the fuck I showed last week, which may make me repeat myself. And then people get bored. And then they get bored. They're like, hey, you're boring. You keep repeating yourself. And I don't want to do that. At least not until you get really drunk. Because drunks always repeat themselves. Come on, show up. Here we go. Crypto billionaire says he could spend a record-breaking $1 billion in the 2024 election. Democratic cryptocurrency exchange founder Sam Bankman-Fried. I wonder what kind of ethnic background he has. Bankman-Fried says he expects to spend north of $100 million of $1 billion. This is to keep Biden in the White House. You see, Mr. Cucciolongo, as much as I would like to try to avoid speaking of the small hats are going to insert themselves into everything everywhere in a very big way. This dude who's now a crypto guy, and he's basically he's taking over the position that Sheldon Adelson used to have. Right, Sheldon Adelson was the casino billionaire that financed Trump, and he would finance tons of candidates around the country. You know what I mean? And I think it was Rolling Stone or one of those magazines straight up said that Sheldon Adelson is ready to buy the presidency, and he did. He gave Trump whatever, like however much he gave Trump, a couple $100 million, and then Trump gave Sheldon Adelson's wife the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So this guy's looking to spend $100 million in 2024. They're not talking about what he's spending now, what he's currently spending in the midterm. But not if there were great gains being made by the left in these midterms. You think, oh, how could that possibly be? You got $5 gasoline. You got the country out of control. You got the Biden wandering around in a fucking coma. There's no way they could win. Listen, they changed the voting machines when Trump was in. If I was them, I would just go fuck it and double down and go for it. So they could win big. You know what I mean? Chuck Schumer could retire, and Andrea AOC Ocasio-Cortez, whatever the fuck her name is, could become the next senator from New York. You know what I mean? After she sells her Tesla, which she doesn't like anymore, because Elon Musk, the multi-billionaire hero of the regular guy, said mean things about socialism or something. So yeah, I would not think that the crypto girl is going to look too hard at Reed, but here was a weird story that I don't know what to make of it. Like this, I absolutely don't know what to make of at all. On one level, it makes sense, and on another level, it could be complete bullshit. Where is it? It's going to come up. The setting I had for a week. All the stuff I always intend to put up there. But I don't know to get around with it. She did not take down Andy Nowicki. No, Andy Nowicki, the rock of the alt-right. And maybe the pet rock of the alt-right. From CNBC, what date was this? This was, this month, May, a couple of weeks ago, May 18th. Bitcoin production roars back in China despite Beijing's ban on crypto mining. So did the Chinese, did they ban Bitcoin? Didn't they ban Bitcoin? Did they stop? Did they not stop? We don't fucking know. We really don't know. Supposedly, part of what drove the price down from 69,000 to its current 29,000 level was the fact that China kicked out all the Bitcoin miners. But did they? Maybe they kicked out some and kept others. I don't know. But it's sort of difficult. It's a little bit difficult to tell. You can tell by the overall, what's called the hash rate, how many calculations per second, which we're at 224 exahashes per second. So that's 224 quadrillion calculations per second going into mining Bitcoin. So that's a lot of computing power. How much of that is coming from China? I don't know. Judas Flychai, the based Persian Michelin guy, blessings from Los Angeles, California. Blessings, Mr. Flychai. Your co-ethnics are being, co-ethnic. They're doing what they normally do. And this time they have my co-ethnics doing a bunch of stuff. Part of which is he likes skinny girls. I like, gustan is like taste, la flaquitas, like flaca means skinny. So I think Cucalango is saying he likes skinny girls, not the thick Latina, the skinny Latina. I believe if my translation skills that I learned while listening to reggaeton and robbing liquor stores, if my translation skills are accurate, I believe that is what Cucalango is putting up in the chat. A bunch of people on Twitter talking about how Iran just seized 2 oil tankers that were owned by Greece, and I'm like, well, Greece seized some Iranian oil tanker or something last week or 2 weeks ago, and the reason why they did that is because America told them to. You know what I mean? The Greeks want F-35 fighter planes, and they want a bunch of other shit. And America's like, okay, you got to go fight the Iranians. You know what I mean? The Greeks like, oh, fuck it, we'll do it. You know what I mean? What's their choice? They're looking at, they want military dominance over Turkey, and the price for that, getting the F-35 jets and no new jets for Turkey, and a bunch of other fucking toys and shit that military toys that Greece is going to fucking get. The price of that is you fucking do what Washington wants. You know what I mean? And then recently, their special forces guys just got tier 1 status, which means their special forces guys are technically as good as Delta Force or SAS. I don't know if that's how true that is, but they're not going to get that status and just sit on their ass. Somebody's going to write up a fucking mission and go, here's some dudes in Iran. Why don't you walk over the border and pop their fucking skulls and maintain your tier 1 status? And you know what? They'll do it. They'll do it because what the fuck? Those are the type of guys that they are. That's the shit they live for. And realistically, Russia, Iran, and China don't have enough and have never had enough barely to maintain themselves. You know what I mean? This whole idea, and this is a great segue into my very first written note. And I thought about this. There's a famous quote by Vladimir Lenin, you know, the capitalists, comrades, the capitalists will sell us the rope we will use to hang them. And people are like, oh my God, yeah, listen, that's the, you know, that's an explicit threat of what they're going to do when they get in power. Well, they did get in power. They did kill a lot of people, but the communists could never build their socialist superstate. And that saying right there, you know what I mean, is more telling, I think, because I was meditating on it. I was like, wait a minute, rope? Fucking, well, hold on. Whoa. Excuse me, Vladimir. Hello, Mr. Lenin. I have a question from the People's Commissariat. How the fuck can you not figure out rope? The Egyptians had rope. The fucking Babylonians had fucking rope. Like, are you saying like rope is too complex of a tool for communism to make? Rope may be the oldest fucking thing people have made. It's like the first thing they did, you know, like they cut an animal skin into strips and used that to, like, it's rope. If you need to buy rope from the capitalists, basically you ain't got nothing, bro. You have nothing. I mean, there's an admission there that they have absolutely nothing if you meditate on it. They can't fucking make rope. Their system, their ideology doesn't work other than to put someone at gunpoint and say, you know, chop wood or do whatever, or we're going to kill you. And that's it. That's all they have. There is no method. There is no system. There is no ability to create or build anything. And if you can't build, you can't do shit. That's why the ghost dancers of the authoritarians, you know, oh, right wing, this and that. Listen, there's no fucking right wing. You know what I mean? You're just conning yourselves. And the people with money are blowing fucking smoke up your fucking ass. You know what I mean? Then they're not financing anything you do ever at fucking all. Okay? Because they're not giving up their money. And what you claim to want creates a very great deal of good for a very small amount of people. And no one's going to get behind that. That's why you're ghost dancers. Okay? You're ghost dancing for an ideology, a worldview that is as defunct and bankrupt as communism. That's the real whatever horseshoe of it. The horseshoe, not really horseshoe, but those are the two similarities between right-wing thought and communist thought. You do not generate any good for anyone other than a small elite. So the right-wing authoritarianism relies on the same mechanism as left-wing authoritarianism. And surprisingly, no one gives a shit about either one. Nobody wants either one. Hold on. Wait a minute. What? Jonathan Pohl went to Roswell, New Mexico and saw space aliens. Well, I think you're trying to distract this chat from the very, very serious analysis that I'm doing of how much communism sucks and how left-wing authoritarianism and right-wing authoritarianism uh, are both parasitical because you need someone else to produce like rope. Like you can't produce rope. Um, you can't produce anything. Not even a fucking, better to tie up your donkey than chase him through the hills. Here's Cuchalongo in the chat. I don't know if I think he's going back and forth with Paul. Convince KMG and I believe you. If the people in the space aliens did not eat bacon and went to Space Temple on Saturday, he'd be all for them. By the way, I saw him in my Twitter feed. I thought I fucking blocked him. Like, how the fuck does he pop up? Same thing like Bob Paxton in the fucking chat. I banned him from the fucking channel. He comes right back in. I have a feeling that behind the scenes, somebody's fucking unlocking all the gates I lock, all the people I mute, block, fucking whatever, unfollow, and they pop right back into my fucking Twitter feed or whatever. I don't know how that happens. I am not doing that. Cuchalongo. I saw yellow flying saucers. Yeah, made in China. You know what I mean? Come on, they're made in China. How do you not know that? How do you not know? Just like Tesla batteries, they're too expensive to make in the United States. You got to make them in China. So you want to make a spaceship, you have to have it made in China. Wait a minute. Click that. Puchalongo, J Pool, go to Santa Fe and Taos before you leave there. Oh, Jonathan Pohl. Yeah, well, isn't Santa Fe where he is? I don't know where. He might not already be there. So you should go to the pool. This is one of those unintentionally profound, dude. Where this one? Chats in the chat from Cuchalongo, Kabbalists or capitalists. Neither one of their numbers really makes sense because capitalism is defined by Marx, who again, remember, they can't figure out rope. As capital moves where it's most comfortable. Well, if capital is always flying away, you know what I mean? It can't build anything steady and enduring. You know what I mean? It is inherently unstable. And that instability will lead to something that will consume the capitalist. Okay, and the Kabbalists have already gone over this. This is just mentally ill small hats looking at the wacky shit that the fucking Hezod used to write in Works and Days, all that stuff. That's all. They look at bizarro belief systems of other people and make the schizo fucking version of it and make that their super duper secret book. But Persia, the Athens versus Persepolis fucking battle is about to heat up all over again. Because Greece wants F-35s, they're going to be the energy hub for Israel, pumping natural gas into Europe, cutting the Russians out, and putting the Germans in their place. And you know what? That's the best deal that they can make, and they're going to make that. So at the end of the day, it's what makes most money for the majority of fucking people. You got to go with the big money. What is the best Greek movie star of the 30s and 40s? There weren't any. I don't think there's been any Greek movie stars. There's no Greek movie stars. The closest I think was like Demi Moore, right? Jennifer Aniston. She's Greek, but all her movies suck, like phenomenally bad. I don't think there are any. I really don't. Anthony Quinn, who is not, he's from the part of Greece they call Mexico. That's what I would say. He's from the part of Greece they call Mexico. Anthony Quinn as the one and only Zorba. Let me go back to my notes here because this whole show is spinning wildly out of control. I think part of it is the shirt. I think this is just the lines going to the internet, the waviness of it all. I think it's having an effect on people's brains. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, right. Oh well. Yeah, Twitter. Like Twitter, there was. I heard this from what's his name? The sports ball guy. Twitter engineers work 4 hours a week. Can you? How do I get that job? Not 4 hours a day, 4 hours a week, and they take a month or 6 weeks off at a time for mental health. So you got these motherfuckers walking around downtown Manhattan with a laptop. You know what I mean? They don't show up at the office for 6 weeks for mental health. You know what I mean? And then just a little bug man sitting in Starbucks or wherever fucking coffee shop or whatever they fucking do, logging on for maybe 4 hours a week and collecting a fucking 6-figure paycheck. That's probably the only reason why we still exist on on Twitter or a bunch of other platforms. If these guys really worked, if these guys had an actual work ethic and were good at what they did, we probably would not exist at all. Jonathan Paul looks like a Ghanaian funeral shirt. That's interesting. I've never been to a Ghanaian funeral, nor have I seen any Ghanaian funerals. I know that basketball Americans frequently have fistfights and shootouts at their funerals. So I don't know. I'm guessing the Ghanaians don't. But the thing I like about Ghana most is the prison system. The quicker we can import that, I'll wear this every day. You know what I mean? I'll wear it every day if I get a job as a guard at the Ghanaian prison facility that will be whatchamacallit, depoisoning the U.S., which is let's be realistic. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. What am I looking at? The wrong thing. I'm looking at the wrong thing. There's so much. So what else do I have? No, I may be running out of shit to say. Plus, we're coming up on an hour. Running out of shit to say. I don't even know where's the feds. I know I promised. Now I'm getting energetic. Alcohol's fucking lighting me up. I'm going to pay for this tomorrow because I was out flipping that fucking log in 90-degree heat. I was doing a bunch of shit today I shouldn't have been doing. I promised a graphic novel, but no one. I'm not being trolled in the chat by the people who were trolling me in the chat last week. So, yeah, I don't. Save that for another one. Cuchalongo, I was watching a movie with Anthony Quinn as a gangster last night. Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's probably the film you were watching because you're a 90s kid. You know what I mean? That was a 90s movie. The QT code joke was mine. Yes, indeed it was. And I will send you a check for the royalties as soon as YouTube sends me a check. I will cut your 10%, sir, and get it right out to you in rainy Seattle, so you can take a trip down to sunny New Mexico and hang out at the Space Alien Museum, wander around Tortillaville, Santa Fe, whatever. You know, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. Once again, I send you that check, which I promise to do as soon as YouTube sends it to me. I will forward it right on to you, sir. Right on to you. So yeah, keep ghost dancing, hoping that your worldview gets adopted by hundreds of millions of people and happens. Keep it up, boys. It's fun to watch. It's really not that much fun to watch. But you might want to look in the mirror and think that you're the ones doing the ghost dancing. The chances of this coming back anytime soon, monarchy, whatever, yeah, I'm not seeing it. But who knows? People could decide, you know what? Left wing, being a left wing wage slave, you know what I mean, a debt slave is I can't stand it. I would love to be a right wing debt slave. That would be so much better. So much better. That could happen. I don't think it's very likely to happen, but it could happen. In the meantime, listen, I don't know. Maybe the Chinese are doing Bitcoin again. Bitcoin is not dead. Still not dead. Bill Miller says, you know what? Good insurance against financial catastrophe. Maybe you guys can survive financial catastrophe. I don't think I can, but let's see what happens, right? Let us see what happens. But that Bitcoin, which has I think the current market cap is $599 billion with well over 1 million users. That idea, a bit more popular than right-wing authoritarianism, despite the opinions of the people in this chat, despite your deepest hopes in terms of something actually functioning now. What potential does it have? Where could it go? I've talked about it a bunch of times. But if this was a race, we're winning, and you are waving around your whatever, man, your right-wing magic stick with the feathers on it, hoping that your strongman comes back to save you and put the world right. But that is a very beta position. It's a very childish position, waiting for someone else to come and fix it. You know what I mean? And arguably you could shift into that Lenin position where you're waiting for someone else to sell you the rope so that you can hang them with it. You know what I mean? It's not as different. It's not as different from Lenin's position as you might think. You don't have any of your own ideas. There's no initiative. You're showing you can type on your keyboard, build for eternity all you want, but you are not doing any work. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to work, and you ain't putting up any capital either. So the chances of that happening, I put close to zero. Not zero, but close to zero. Anyway, yeah, that's where we are. I think that's it for this week. I had a bunch of crappy screen shares like I always do. But is there anything even worth showing? Is there anything worth showing? No, I showed that already. What's this? Yeah, the new round. I'm trying to avoid the unpleasant stuff. I am trying. Oh, okay. Here's all right. Two more quick things. Cuchalongo, I'm going to be upset because I'm saying mean things about the flats. But listen to me. I'm an equal opportunity offender. I'm going to say mean things about chopstick Americans. Here's something we'll and a study in contrast. It's the same thing, but it's different, right? Same exact thing, but it's different. Come up on the screen. Here we go. All right. On the left, Bernie Madoff. In 2009, Bernie Madoff lost investors $60 billion. That's not exactly what he did. He conned them out of money, but whatever. He lost investors $60 billion. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison. That's because the people that lost money were all millionaires and multimillionaires. They were foreign governments. They were pension funds. They were people with means and ability. On the right-hand side of the screen is a chopstick American in 2022. Do Kwon, he's actually a chopstick. I don't think he's American at all. Do Kwon lost investors $60 billion after Luna, which was a cryptocurrency, collapsed to $0. He then created Luna 2.0, which just launched earlier this week. And on the same day it launched, it lost 80% of its value. And the reason why Bernie Madoff on the left went to prison is because he conned wealthy people with the means to fight back. The reason why Do Kwon got to keep all the money he scammed and actually just restarted the whole fucking scam all over again is because he scammed nobodies. He scammed burger flippers. You know what I mean? He scammed desperate people with no resources who don't have a good way to improve their lives, and they took a crazy gamble. So, are these men the same? Yeah, in a lot of ways they are. It's just their fate is different because of whom they victimized. You know, Do Kwon is smarter because he victimized people that couldn't fight back. This was something from last week, but to understand, you know, to understand the type of people we're up against, that I ever laid down a bike. No, I've dropped them at fucking gasoline stations. Forget to put the kickstand down. You go to get off, and the thing fucking falls over, breaks your clutch lever. It's annoying. Here's something when when you understand what we're, and I think we do, that this is I call this Titanic Part 2. Although you could probably call the Hindenburg that. Nonetheless, this was a very interesting story. This is an airplane story in the flight of Malaysian Air Flight Mike Hotel 370. In 2014, when Malaysian flight Mike Hotel MH370 mysteriously vanished over the Indian Ocean, there was a company called Freescale Semiconductors. They actually had 20 employees on that plane. But four of those employees, four out of five people from Freescale Semiconductors were patent owners. They owned the patent for some sort of chip. After the disappearance of the airplane, the fifth patent holder bought up the sole ownership of the patent, and that fifth patent owner was none other than Jacob Rothschild. So the story is Malaysian flight MH370 leaves for Beijing, China, flies north from Kuala Lumpur. Is supposed to be picked up by radars in Ho Chi Minh City, which the Vietnamese do get it on radar, but then it disappears, and the Vietnamese are supposed to call Kuala Lumpur within 5 minutes if they lose the plane. They didn't call quite in 5 minutes. They called in like 18 minutes, but they did call and say, hey, we lost the fucking plane. And then Kuala Lumpur fucks things up for a while. And the plane, this was a Boeing 777, which has extensive avionics that actually communicates with satellites. So the airplane itself automatically, in its automatic systems, started communicating with a satellite. It did brief communications with the satellite. Then the satellite communicated with the airplane 5 times. So instead of the plane going basically due north from Kuala Lumpur across Vietnam into China, into Beijing, it made a sharp left at Vietnam and went out into the Indian Ocean. And then the satellite telemetry indicated that the plane broke up into a million pieces all at once and fell into the ocean 5 times faster than it was flying. So catastrophic airframe, disaster, right? The catastrophic airframe destruction of an unknown cause. But luckily, Jacob Rothschild, the fifth patent holder, managed to buy up the patents from the family of these, the surviving family of the 4 other patent holders that just unfortunately happened to all be on at the same time. You know, some people get unlucky, other people get lucky, right? That's who you're up against. You know what I mean? Blowing up, that an airplane blew up. Listen, I don't know how that happened. you could have easily. I know how I would do it, but not that I say I would do it. I can think of a couple of different ways it could be done, but yeah, you know what? There was a patent for $1 billion chip. 4 out of 5 guys were in that plane. The fifth one was safe in Rothschild Mansion, and the plane just amazingly, blew up over the Indian Ocean, and nobody knows why, nobody knows how, and they never found the black boxes, and they never even searched for it. So, and apparently Kuala Lumpur has a level of incompetence in their air traffic control and their other procedures as far as air emergencies, a level of incompetence that can only be described as Malaysian. Anyway, no, I know. No, I'm not a crasher. I was never a crasher. Listen. What the fuck? Kuchalango, what are you talking about? Dude, who are you saying all your younger female relatives want to have sex with black men? You must be talking to somebody in the chat. I don't know. Just a question. Dude, did you? Oh, you're just whatever. Yeah, listen. These guys will blow up an airplane to get full control of one chip. You know what I mean? That probably is, no longer even in use. That was 2014. The cycle of chip utility probably doesn't last 7 years. These are the guys we're up against, right? And hoping that some strongman comes and knocks these guys off their perch. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I don't see a way for that to happen. I listen to you guys waiting for some sort of description of how this is going to happen. You have zero fucking ideas, because basically your little children doing the ghost dance, hoping that the buffalo come back and make you, fill your teepee with buffalo jerky and blankets and whatever. You know what I mean? That's where you're at, bro. And that's why I mute and block and unfollow people, because it's a spectacular waste of my time. You have a list of complaints of shit that's not perfect. Okay, that's great. That's unique. That's interesting. Got any answers for how we're gonna fix this? And the answer is no. Like you don't even entertain that question. You know what I mean? When I ask the question, why does democracy rule the earth? Why did it destroy every other form of governance that came before it? You just pretend that question wasn't fucking asked. It's like I didn't hear that one. I was busy. I was fucking around with my smartphone. That's a fair question. I asked that like 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I could ask that for 5 years, and none of you guys will ever come up with an answer, because you don't know why shit works, you don't know why shit breaks, and you don't know how to rebuild shit. You know what I mean? Which is why nobody's going to listen to you. So wait for the buffalo to come, wave the stick with the fucking feathers on it or whatever it is you have, whatever, your Viking helmets, whatever you're going to do. You know what I mean? Good luck with that. We're going to build the future. And you know what? You're going to have to go through a very stringent screening process in order to get in. And I hope I live to see the whole thing. But in the meantime, we're over an hour and 15. Chris Alton, who shows up at the very last minute. Chris Alton, the answer is the same as to why Christianity was successful. I don't know about that. But nice cryptic answer, Chris Alton. Perhaps you could expand on that next week when you show up on time, because you're late. And like I said, scan the QR code. You get the free copy of my book, my ebook, How to Beat the Feds and Insult People. I am going to try to chill out a little bit, because it is going to be 97 degrees tomorrow. I'm going to be working all day, no AC, making sure America's GDP does not fall to zero. You know what I mean? But buying all that $5 gasoline that I can get, buying all the $5 gasoline I can get to keep the economy going. Yeah, no, I know there's a bunch of people lurking. I'm just busted chops, Chris Olpen. Yeah, there's when something stops working, something else takes over, right? I mean, that's the principle of the universe. It's predator prey. You know what I mean? When a lion goes after, you watch the nature documentaries that we used to when we were kids. Lion goes down to the river. You know why? It's not necessarily because he's that thirsty, but he knows every fucking animal needs to fucking drink. So there's going to be zebras. There's going to be antelopes. Everybody needs fucking water, and he's going to sneak through the grass. So actually, the female lions that do this, they sneak through the grass and they look, and when they fucking run, and they always catch the oldest ones who can't keep up with the pack, or the youngest ones who are too fucking young, and they don't know. They're like, why is everybody running? They're like, hey, I thought we were all coming down to the river for a drink, and then boink, the fucking lion sinks its fucking fangs into the little baby zebra's neck. And that's that. Hooray for the lion. Sucks to be the zebra. But the weak, the slow, the inexperienced, they're the ones that get victimized. The other ones don't. And when that happens to an entire culture, not just a single zebra, you get big changes. We're not there yet with the fractional reserve banking. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Where's that other one? Where's that other one? Shit, man. Oh yeah, here's it. The beginning of the complete disconnect between cause and effect, which is common, probably was common at the end of the classical era, certainly was common at the end of the Islamic era. By the time Islam was losing its grip on Europe and the Dark Ages were ending, if you read any of the stuff that the Muslims wrote, they were completely disconnected from cause and effect. And you get that today. And here's a perfect example of this. Going to come up on the screen. Here it is. From the Bank of England. The governor of the Bank of England says the Bank of England is not to blame for inflation. So the bank, which prints the money, is not to blame for inflation. Something else is. I don't know. The people of England who were in super COVID lockdown more than any other people, they couldn't go to a pub without making an appointment and fucking showing the vaccine status to go get a fucking pint of beer. So yeah, technically technically it's not the Bank of England. Technically it's the Rothschilds, but yeah, it's the Bank of England that's responsible for the inflation. You print the money, you devalue the currency. That makes everything that is not money more valuable. What else do I got? What else? Now let's just go. There's an American version of that, smaller perhaps, but I would argue equally as insane. And then, of course, on the beautiful New York City subway, which I do not know the helicopter codes for Manhattan. I do not fly helos. I do not deliver parts for helos. Not that I know of. This is a New York City subway. You got a black woman in a sweater. This is an advertisement to heroin junkies. Don't be ashamed that you are using heroin. Be empowered that you are using heroin safely. So be proud of the fact that you stick a needle in your arm. You know what I mean? And whatever you have to do to stick that needle in your arm, you know what I mean, is not a shameful act. You, in fact, should be proud. Be a proud heroin addict. Don't be an ashamed heroin addict. By the way, they don't actually feel shame, but this is the level of governance in America's largest city. Of all the insane shit they ever put up, this is maybe amongst the most insane. I don't know how many heroin junkies there are in New York, but how, like, if this is your constituency, like, this is, what do you think you're going to get at this? That may be peak New York insanity. I'm not sure if they can top that. Don't be ashamed of being a junkie. Be a proud heroin addict. Shoot up. You know what I mean? Once you're done shooting up, give the finger to that. Whatever. That cis white hetero. Cis white hetero dude who's actually paying the taxes to give you those free needles. To give you the free needles and the safe indoor place to shoot up. Floyd Bennett Field. I don't know if anybody still flies at Floyd Bennett Field. Do you even know the seaplane intake codes? I do not know seaplane intake codes. I was in Baltimore. There's a sports ball guy who has a seaplane who, from Jersey, he flies to Baltimore to buy bushels of crabs pre-cooked, and they keep them in the FBO, and they said the place stinks the place up. And he's like a Jersey NFL guy, and he flies down in this plane and gets like 5 or 6 bushels of crabs from Maryland, and fucking blue crabs. It's crazy expensive down there. I don't know what a bushel costs, but this guy buys like 5 and 6 at a time, and he flies them up to his house, and he has a big barbecue. So sports ball dindos doing their part to keep America's economy rolling, but he feels that New Jersey doesn't do seafood with the sufficient skill and artisanal uniqueness that they do, that they put in Baltimore. But the bushels of crabs stink up the FBO, the little area that they have to clean it. East 34th Heliport. Come on, man. I don't go to East. I try not to go to Manhattan at all. Like, if I can avoid it like a plague. I go to all airports around Manhattan. And the people from Manhattan come to the airports that I come and go to. But I was going, like, where was I going? JetBlue, JFK, Logan, JetBlue, EWR up to Logan. I've been going up to Logan a lot. I don't know why. Like I said, going up to Boston, mostly for commercial outfits like JetBlue, not the private jets. But why? I don't know, because that's the way it is. That's the way it goes. And this is it's summertime. It's party time. This is what I suggest everyone do. This should be your attitude. This should be your attitude. Crab cakes. Crab cake is definitely like, you take a chick on a date and you get her crab cakes in Baltimore. If you cannot close the deal with that, my friend, you are a permanent incel. Okay, but this is a cool meme, right? At the end of the day, you need to be that dude in the blue t-shirt. You know what I mean? Just keep stacking Bitcoin. Keep stacking it. Listen to Bill Miller. He's a billionaire. He says Bitcoin is a hedge against financial disaster. You don't want to be caught in a financial disaster. Your parents will not be there forever to rescue you. So I strongly advise you take an active role in your own rescue. Don't be like that dude in the corner smoking a cigar or whatever in the stripy shirt. You don't want to be him. You don't want to be gambling, buying with leverage, all that sort of stuff. Just tilt your head back, keep buying Bitcoin, keep stacking, and trade your Zog bucks for the hardest money ever created. And you will be in a better position than most people, because when the shoe does drop, it is definitely not going to be pretty. All right, now we're coming up on an hour and a half. hour and a half, 90-minute show. We covered topics. We wandered away. We did Bourdain. We did all sorts of weirdo stuff. Seaplanes, crab cakes. Chris Alton bringing the cross, bringing the cross to bear. You know what I mean? There's a lot of religious Bitcoiners. I don't know if you know that. Chris Alton, many people believe, and I think this is odd, but whatever, I'll work with him. A lot of people unironically believe that God created Bitcoin to defeat the communists. If you go on, I don't know if you're on Twitter, but I've shown that before. That is unironically what a number of people believe, unironically. And even that guy, what's his name? The ortho bro, Jay Dyer. He's like an orthodox Christian author or speaker or something like that. Recently he's become orange pilled. So we're winning, waiting for King Arthur to pull a sword out of the stone and kill the bad guys. Not working out according to plan. So good luck. Satoshi Nakamoto is the Holy Spirit. All right, you know what? I would argue with it because whatever, I'll take it. If it works to destroy the communists and the people behind the communists, absolutely, I'm with you 100%. All right, now this is seriously, we're going to end the show because I have nothing more to talk about. I'm digging up fucking screenshots from 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? We're at the bottom of the barrel. In fact, we're underneath the barrel, scraping what's underneath the barrel. Do a cooking show next week. I should do secret souvlaki marinades, which I've been working on in my spare time as I travel from city to city, wondering what the fuck did I just taste? How did they do that? I don't ask the people at the restaurant because they're not going to know, and the owner's not going to tell me. So I have to become a intuitive food detective. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Thanks for everybody for showing up, even though some of you are a little off the beaten path. Portuguese Christian power, Portuguese barbecue power. You know what I mean? I'm down with that. I'm definitely down with Portuguese barbecue power. Good night, everybody. I'll talk to you again next week.